Hi guys, James Wilson Taylor here for Roxanne. It's another of our video calls. We are catching up with everybody while we're all at home at the minute. I'm delighted to say from Code Orange, Reba's on the line. How are you, Reba?
Good. What's up?
All good, all good. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for being here. And we'll start off in the way we've started all of them off, which is to just kind of say, hope you and your loved ones, you're all kind of keeping safe and well in this very, very odd moment that we find ourselves in at the minute. How have these last few lockdown months at home kind of been for you? How you been occupying yourself?
It's been cool. I mean, obviously it's a bit of a wake-up call. We haven't been able to tour. We just put out a record. We were ready to hit the road for a really long time. But we kind of just shifted gears, and in the process I've been learning a lot of new ways to, show our art. And it actually ended up being a positive thing as we've been able to explain a lot of the artistic side of the album and what goes into all of that through like Twitch and live streaming and showing kind of like what the band's all about in a different way that I think actually gets lost a little bit live with us because we go so intensely out there, live with the crowd. And it's like a different experience, but it's been fine. I have my band and we've been seeing each other since the whole time, and we all live in Pittsburgh. So it makes it really easy to collaborate with each other and create, different performances during the quarantine that are live streamed, so we've been having an all right time, an all right go at it.
Yeah, it's definitely positive. I mean, I do admire your work ethic, guys, because you have not stopped at all. Obviously, you had the album to promote anyway, but yeah, I think a lot of
Yeah.
bands could have maybe been phased by this situation, but you guys have hit the ground running in the best way. Before we get into all that live stream and all that kind of cool stuff, just want to reflect on the album a little bit because we're about 6 months down the line now from release. Big question, but how are you kind of reflecting? I mean, it must have been weird putting it out at this moment, but how do you feel it's gone down with fans from where you're sitting?
I mean, it is really always hard to tell, especially now with, I think, things move at a different pace. Usually you have some sort of gauge with the reactions live of the songs and this and that. But I mean, it's almost kind of different because with the amount of work that we all put into this album, it's like we're so proud of it and feel so strongly that it's like in our eyes like the perfect thing we could have done. Like it's our best work. So I feel great about it. I mean, I know no matter what's going on in the world right now, if it's like kind of closing off like who's able to hear it or who maybe would have been able to hear it, I think our fans love it, and I think it has been able to reach some new places because of, especially because of the first stream we did of our record release show. I think that was really like monumental for the moment it happened in. And again, I'm just super proud of it. I think it really represents us. I think we put it together in a way that we feel we couldn't have done any better. So knowing that, it's like we just been working on kind of visualizing, like, we feel like it represents us, right? So we just feel like it's going to take us where we need to go, and we just have to believe that wholeheartedly. That's the way that we can continue to make it through these months where we're just, in one place for a really long time. So that
Yeah, for
makes
sure.
sense.
No, that definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And of course, the fans have gone absolutely wild for it, and that's really great to see. But yeah, I saw, I think it was actually around the 6 month anniversary, you guys tweeted out, I got the quote down here, which was that it is the fullest representation of us artistically to date. You basically just said the same thing there. Why do
Yeah.
you think that this record really did encapsulate everything you'd wanted to up until this point? Big question, but yeah, why do you think specifically this record made you guys achieve that?
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this a really long time. We've been with us. It's been us four, and then we got Dominic, during Forever, and that kind of like completed the core unit, I think. So we've discovered what each other's real skills are, and we've grown each other's skills together, and we've all kind of reached what I would say is like some sort of a peak of understanding like what talents we have and what tools we can use. And we've just been able to really dig into that and dig into just the mental side of all of it. We're able to collaborate the best we ever have been. We're able to work as much on this, like more on the actual music than we ever had the time to do. We weren't on tour when we were writing this really. We've been writing this record though for like a very long time, kind of building ideas really from the ground up. And then also we had so much control on the album. Like we recorded basically full-fledged demos that were like the album prior to even going into the studio. So we really had it all planned out. And then we were able to just elevate everything once we went into the studio. And we've all learned so much in terms of recording and engineering and just like learning about the process, but being able to, you know, whilst having it in someone else's hands, a professional who can elevate it, we were able to understand the whole, everything that was going on and pretty much collaborate with them the entire time during mixing, etc. So it just made it like, you know, you have this idea brewing and sometimes you try to put it out there and it doesn't come out the way that you want it to, but we were able to, you know, understand the process so deeply and check each other's balances that it ended up coming out like basically exactly how we imagined, which in my mind is like, that's always the goal. So,
yeah. Perfect scenario. That's exactly what you want. Yeah. No, it's always great when it works out like that. Congratulations to you guys on that success. And yeah, let's talk about what's happened since then, because something that's been a real recurring theme in all these conversations I've been having with people is when they're approaching live stream shows or however they want to do like a pre-recorded show or whatever it is in this time, so many different ways of doing it and so many different challenges in putting it together. I want to start with that release show. I mean, where did you start? What were the challenges in getting that off the ground and running and making it the success that it then was?
Yeah, it came together pretty quick. We were literally at practice, you know, like kind of unsure what was going to happen. We had been in tour mode. Like me personally, I was in tour mode, grinding, getting it ready to go. There's always a bunch of little things you have to do, and I was pretty much panicking. This tour is about to start, and I'm like getting it together. And then this whole shit goes down, and we find out, you know, the show might be canceled. So, but we didn't know for sure. So we were at practice, we were talking about it, and me and Jamie, I think we were actually maybe in the car on the way to practice, and we both came to the same conclusion at the same time, pretty much. You're like, we should live stream it, like, and we were just like, yeah, let's figure it out. We didn't even know what we were getting into at the time, but like, it just made sense. You know, we're young enough where we understand all that stuff, but we didn't like necessarily grow up with it at all. So we kind of have a weird in between, but yeah, so we just switched gears. We just decided, and then, you know, I called as many of our connections as possible to figure it out, talk to so many people about like how it would work, this and that. We were planning like almost as if we would possibly live stream it if the crowd was there, because we didn't know. So we were like, okay, well, we're going to live stream this no matter what. If the crowd's there, great. If the crowd's not, it is what it is. We're going to do it good because we're so used to doing that kind of stuff. You know, we've done stuff for WWE and NXT and all this stuff where it's like, you're not really playing to your crowd. And even like tours with, you know, System of a Down or Slipknot, it's like, there's people out there, but they don't necessarily care about you. So we've learned how to do that. And I think people were finally able to see that when we actually live streamed to an empty arena or empty venue, whatever. You know, we're like, holy shit, like, how do they find the energy to do that? Like, we've been doing that for a long time, but it was just, you know, logistical nightmare. But once it all came together, it was good enough, honestly. And I think just the reach that it got, we were able to put the new version of the band out there with Jamie singing and with our new drummer. And it just was like, honestly made sense for our band. Our band's so apocalyptic as it is that it's like, it just made sense that we would have a record release be to no one, but a lot of people, you know, virtually. So
yeah, exactly. Not to no one. They were there, just not physically. It works well.
Couldn't see them, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Invisible crowd. It's all good. It's all good. And then to jump from that through into Under the Skin and all that stuff. I mean, what I want to ask there, because you guys cited it, and of course there's the cheeky logo and all that stuff. MTV Unplugged, a clear inspiration point. I mean, were there any particular performances from that? I mean, there's been like quite a surprisingly large amount of rock and hard rock acts that have done it, even besides the obvious ones that everyone kind of knows. What were the inspiration points with MTV Unplugged specifically? Did you cite any particular performances?
I mean, if I'm being honest, it's really the Alice in Chains one. Like, I like a lot of those, but the Pearl Jam one's cool. Like, the Nirvana one's cool. But the one that really clicked with me for a long time, for years, was the Alice in Chains one. Like, I would put that record on just, you know, without the video all the time and just listen to that. So, and honestly, like, I don't know, the idea I think just came about as like knowing too that our songs could be done that way. And then it started clicking after that. And then it just made sense to kind of pull more from that one. But yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes into that stuff. It's wild. Like, the idea came about kind of simply. We were even maybe just talking about doing it like in a basement somewhere. But then, as with always everything with us, things spiral, and then it just became this monstrous idea with, like, you know, Sunny 856 filming, who's an amazing videographer, and with like other guys in the crew coming down and, you know, helping us out with getting everything to work. So yeah, but that Alice in Chains performance is just like, it's just something about it really feels like it needed to happen, if that makes sense. Like the other ones, it seems kind of like, I don't know, more relaxed, but the Alice in Chains ones just always clicked with me a lot. So that's kind of why we did the Down in a Hole cover too, because we felt like it encapsulated the whole set a bit.
Yeah, I was going to ask, you know, clearly you guys are fans of the band, and obviously that was one of the inspiration points in there, but why Down in a Hole specifically? What made you, what drew you to that particular Alice in Chains track that you guys, you wanted to do a version of?
I mean, I think the lyrics especially, and it also kind of is just, the song just flows in a way that I think worked with the way that we play, and we didn't even know we could pull it off. Jamie kind of just suggested it, so I'm not sure if he had some other reasonings, but the harmonies on that song are really consistent, and we just felt like we just basically were able to imagine a way of us playing it that wasn't hopefully, you know, too bad of a representation, you know. So we felt like we could do it basically, and not all their songs are something you can do, but that one we felt we could do. We felt we could show it in our own way and sing it in our own way, and we practiced it a few times and we felt confident about it, so we went with it. And again, it was just like paying an homage to them, and we felt like that was honestly like necessary to a degree, just because of how much their set had impacted us even doing that. Like, they didn't do that their set, I don't think we could have ever imagined us doing this. You know, it's like one of those things, if that didn't exist, like so many other things wouldn't. So that was definitely one. Had to, you know.
Yeah, nice. No, nice to be able to pay tribute to something like that obviously has had such a direct influence on you. It's really cool, and something nice when things like that are good come out of this weird time, right? Nice to be able to,
exactly,
to make it work in that way. Well, looking forward then as well, because again, in that little tweet, there was a lot packed into this tweet. Just saying about 6 months since the release, little hint to the end there, much more to come this year. Now, I know you won't want to give away necessarily too much if you guys have got stuff planned, but are we to take that to mean perhaps more new music, or are we talking more performances? What can you hint at that's to come for the rest of 2020?
Well, definitely a new performance, and we're trying to get it out really quick because, you know, as we all know, in November things might get a little bit wild. So over here anyway.
Yeah, why? What have you heard? Something going on? Wow, yeah, we've not heard
I don't
about
know.
that.
I don't, you know, no one talks about it, but no, yeah, shit's gonna get wild. So we're trying to get this next idea we have, which is monstrous, let's just say, out there like right away. So I don't, you know, I think we're gonna start pushing the promotion for that out, and people will start to see what we're going for. And as you know, we've learned a lot through each time we've done this. So I think this one's probably going to be the best one, most put together, and just like, yeah, we're putting a lot of work into it, and you know, it could be the last one before we go on tour. It could be one of many for many more months. I have no idea, but we've just been taking kind of baby steps, I guess, into getting our ideas out there in a new way. So, but
yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? I mean, it's such a shame when everyone's schedules are kind of all over the place, but we are hopeful that, of course, we'll see you over here in the UK next year, particularly Slam Dunk and things like that. And, you know, I know that you guys must always have a great time in front of UK crowds. You seem to always get a really good reception. Yeah. How has it particularly been, your touring experiences over here? And I guess playing festivals as well, like Slam Dunk. It's always a great experience, right?
It's been awesome. Like, the UK is definitely the one place that we just almost feel it's pretty close to how we feel when we play shows here, and that's like saying a lot since America's the way it is. It's crazy, but the press over there has been really good, which is helpful, but then there also feels like there's an underground kind of scene that comes out for us. So it's the combination of those two things that makes the shows really awesome. And the festivals, obviously Download Fest and stuff like that, but then just playing, you know, like I have a lot of memories of playing the underground, and I forget where we played. Last time I think we played with Trivium at the Brixton, and that was an absolutely insane show. But we played a lot of headline shows when we were a few years ago at the Underground, and those are always insane. So that, and there's another festival we played recently. Can't remember what it's called, but it was also wild. All of it's wild. I love the wild shows. You know, I think a lot of times we do play, you know, Germany and other places in Europe, and it's cool, but it's a little bit different in that regard. I think people don't always like let loose in the same kind of way. So it's just a different thing. But the UK is sick. So
yeah, we go hard over here. We try our best. We go hard.
Yeah.
And speaking of Trivium, that's something I definitely want to bring up before I leave you. Is you know, you alluded to earlier as well, playing with Slipknot, playing with System, and of course Trivium, and various amazing opportunities and sports sorts you've done there. I just always wonder when you've been having those opportunities and doing those tours and watching those shows every night. Do you have moments you cherry pick out? What are the learnings from watching those big ambitious shows when you're at that stage of your career?
I think it's just trying to find our way to that place, you know, and we've always felt like we belong where those bands are. You know, we're just younger. That's the only difference. And times are so different now. Getting there it's a much different pathway than those bands took, I think. Not that they didn't work their fucking asses off, because I know that they did. And watching them and how hard they work, it's like completely clear. So it's honestly maybe those two things, maybe three things. You know, one, seeing how hard those bands work is always inspiring, and just it really shows you like there's no way you're getting out of the grind. Like if you want to get to that place, you have to grind, no matter how good you are. If you really want to have that hard-earned, you know, cred and hard-earned spot, it's not just like the popular pop music of the time. It's metal. Like that, the genre doesn't work like that. You really get chewed up. It's either spit out or chewed up, and you stick around, and people respect you. So that, and you know, also even just making use of the stages and making use of the production. And it's really hard opening up some of those tours because you don't always get going to get to do everything you want to do because you're not headlining, you know, but you have to make do with what you have, and learn how to really act fast and get things how you need to get them really quickly, and make use of all the space, and tweak all of your, you know, instruments just so that everything comes across right, and tones, and just technical stuff, honestly, that I think that putting us through that ringer has taught us a lot, that, you know, then even leads to the live streams and knowing what we're doing more and knowing our craft. And all those dudes know their craft really well too. So it's inspiring. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, keep doing what you're doing, man, because like I say, but it's very, very impressive to see bands who've been able to adapt in this time, particularly in doing the live stuff. And you guys, more than most, I think, have really, really hit the ground running with it. So congrats on that. And look forward to seeing what this next one will be. And of course, look forward to seeing you guys in the UK whenever that may be, hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, in the meantime, Reba, yeah, just all the best to you and stay safe out there, all right?
Awesome. You too, man. Good to talk to you.
Good to chat to you, Reba, everybody.